Hello and welcome back to the Revelations Room. The chronology of mysterious events tells us that in past centuries, there were cases when people claimed to have come from countries and cities that had never existed on Earth, and also spoke unknown languages, causing even more questions from the local police. Travelers from parallel universes, guests from the future, or, as is customary here, yet another madman who has gone crazy with his head. Although I would not rush to conclusions today, we will get to know some of these strange stories. Man of Taured. In 1954 Japan, a curious case unfolded that has puzzled historians and mystery enthusiasts alike. A young man claiming to be from a country called Taured was arrested at customs. To everyone's amazement, he spoke an array of languages, including French, Spanish, and Japanese, and held a passport issued by this elusive nation. His identification also included a driver's license from the same non-existent place. When he was asked to pinpoint Taured on a map, he first indicated Andorra, a tiny country nestled between France and Spain. But, realizing his mistake, he insisted that Taured had been around for over 1,000 years and was entirely unknown to him. Adding to the confusion, his passport bore stamps from several previous visits to Tokyo without any prior issues. Baffled by the situation, Japanese customs officials decided to detain him overnight in a hotel room on the top floor, guarded by 2 armed sentries. Yet by morning, the man had vanished without a trace, leaving behind no clues or explanations. His disappearance was as sudden as his arrival, and despite thorough investigations, no further information surfaced. It seemed as if he had simply vanished into thin air. The story of the man from Taured continues to captivate imaginations, blending mystery and the supernatural in a tale that defies logical explanation. Jafar's story. In 1850, a mysterious figure named Jafar Vorin made an unexpected appearance in a small German town near Frankfurt. This curious incident is recounted in John Timm's 1852 book, The Book of the Year, Facts in Science and Art. Timms describes how, towards the end of 1850, Jafar the Raven arrived in the town of Lebas, located on the Oder River. Jafar's origins were as enigmatic as his name. He spoke German with a peculiar accent and looked European, yet claimed to hail from a distant land called Laxaria, situated on the continent of Sacre. Despite his European appearance, he was unfamiliar with any European languages except German. Remarkably, he could read and write in Laxarian, Abrahamian, and a specialized clerical language from Laxaria. During his interrogation by the burgomaster of Frankfurt, Jafar described Laxaria as a country hundreds of kilometers away from Europe, separated by a vast ocean. He professed that his religion closely mirrored Christianity, though it was distinct in its form and doctrine. According to him, he had journeyed to Europe in search of his missing brother, but his voyage had ended in shipwreck. Strangely, Jafar was unable to pinpoint his exact route on any map or globe. Jafar's description of the world was equally unusual, as he spoke of 5 continents: Sacre, Flor, Aslar, Uzlar, and Eflar. His account intrigued scholars in Frankfurt on the Oder, who, despite the strange details, found his story plausible. Consequently, Jafar was sent to Berlin, the Prussian capital, where he became a subject of both rumours and intense scientific scrutiny. The tale of Jafar the Raven continues to fascinate, blending elements of mystery with a tantalising hint of the unknown. Riverside's Dimension. Carol Chase McElhoney was travelling from Paris to California to her home in San Bernardino. Soon she decided to make a stop in Riverside, in the city where she was born. It was quite strange, but Carol quickly realised that this was completely different from the city in which she used to live. Although geographically it was Riverside, Carol claims that she could not find her house where she spent her childhood. She could not even find the houses of other members of her family. She did not recognise a single house. However, the numbers and names of the streets seemed to be correct. Even the cemetery where she buried her grandparents turned out to be just a fenced-in vacant lot, overgrown with weeds. Carol was seized with horror. Maybe she just stopped in the wrong city. She would have thought so if she had not found acquaintances from high school and college. However, Carol sued the familiar publication for a short time. It was all about the atmosphere of this riverside, from her words. The residents were somehow strange, and she soon left the city, being afraid of approaching any of them. Carol believes that she fell into a parallel dimension, where her riverside was a much more sinister place. Of course, it is impossible to confirm the story of this woman, but a few more years later, when she came back to Riverside again for her father's funeral, she ended up in a completely ordinary city where she grew up in the alternative Riverside. Carol never visited Riverside again. What do you think? Are these stories real or just someone's imagination? Share your thoughts, like and subscribe for more revelations.